Hey everyone, my name is Ngesihle Mkhize, aka Ingzara, but better known in the classroom as Miss Engi. Inspiring teachers got to interview Mariska de Klerk this week, a young, vibrant woman from Cape Town. She is absolutely amazing. As we were interviewing her, I got to understand that all our stories are very different, but we all have a story to share, and I would like you to come on and tune in into my couch and see what Mariska's story is.
Take pride and insult it with the best description of fulfilled. Inherit and listen between signs of sealed prayers. Take your fears to the reality of your fight. Love yourself bare and dusty. Release the lioness to practice. I'm not scared anymore.
Hey everyone, this is Mariska.
Hey guys.
Mariska, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
So I am from South Africa. I come from Cape Town, in the northern suburbs of Durbanville. I went to Stellenbosch High School, and then I was like conflicted in what I want to become one day. Like I'm a twin sister who just has everything figured out sometimes. So she's a pharmacist now, but I knew like her dream is not my dream.
Of course.
So at the end of the day, I was giving Sunday school at our church, and then I just realized that this is something I want to do. I want to start working with students, start working with people, interacting, and I think like psychology is a bit too deep for me.
Yeah.
So I thought of education, and then I applied to Wellington University, or Cape Town, Cape Peninsula Technology.
That's awesome, yeah.
And it's like an Afrikaans university, so it was nice to do it in my local language, and we had the opportunity to learn another language from South Africa, so I'm able to speak a little bit of Xhosa. And it was just nice getting to know everyone and everyone's experience. Like I worked with people that didn't really have a passion like
Sure.
I did, so sometimes it was difficult, but
Group work, that's group work.
at the end of the day, like I knew that's what I wanted to do, and now I'm working in the Middle East.
Is it your first teaching job in the Middle East?
Yes, after university I came here.
Why
and
didn't you teach maybe in South Africa?
my mom always encouraged me to like go overseas, like live your life and do things you're not able to do in the country, in South Africa. Like I love my country, but al die geleenthede is nie altyd daar nie. And then my mom encouraged me, but like, why don't you go overseas? And a friend and I who studied together and we did our honors together, like this was kind of our journey together. And then we came here, and she left last year, which was difficult for me because it's something we started together, but I had the opportunity to grow on my own and figure things out on my own as well. So it's my third year teaching overseas.
That's lovely,
now.
Mariska. I've seen a lot of your teaching, and I've seen a lot of your teaching practice. You really enjoy using artistic ways to make sure that your children are learning. You always like to make sure children are learning differently in every subject. You don't want to give them the same kind of teaching methodology. You always want to make sure that it's very different and it's vibrant. Mariska, tell us a little bit more about that in your life. Like, what gives you the motivation to actually really be so inspired when you're actually planning your lesson and making sure that you're creating content that is relevant for kids?
I think like research is very important. Like obviously we all love being on our phones.
Yes.
So mostly what I like to do is I like to work hard. I've
Sure.
always liked to work hard. And I think it's determination and the fact that I have a passion for it. As soon as you realize you don't have a passion for something, you're not in the right field at all. And for me in Qatar, it was nice to have children in my class who are all from different countries.
Yeah.
None of them are the same. Where, for example, in South Africa, all the kids, their backgrounds are different, but they're from the same place.
Okay.
So obviously in Qatar, people come from different religions, different
Sure.
cultures,
Yes.
everything is different. So at the end of the day, you had to incorporate that to see, but this child is different from this one learns differently. So I used a lot of Pinterest and getting teaching ideas and like speaking to other people who has also been working in the Middle East. And I was fortunate enough to, like, I was sent on different courses
Sure.
and like training things, personal development things here. So someone believed in me and wanted me to carry on and working on that. So through all of those things, I've learned a little, like, from everyone.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like, that's the most important
Sure.
thing for me, is to walk into a classroom, and even though our teaching styles are different, at the end of the day, even if there's just one thing I can learn from that teacher.
So there's something that I want to discuss with you. You're very organized. You have got you know what you want in your teaching. You know what you want, especially in your classroom. How does it affect working in groups for you?
It's difficult
Mm.
sometimes. Like I've also told you before, like we sometimes feel intimidated by
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time, like I was speaking to my flatmates about it this morning, it took me a very long time, like, to take critic in a different way,
Sure.
to make it positive and not always negative. Because I remember my first time I walked into my principal's office, like I was kind of like tearing because you're scared and you don't want to make mistakes. But as I went along, I realized it's okay to make mistakes.
And I think it's really important, I love that about you, is that it's so important for us to remember that critical consciousness is an important thing as a teacher to have. We really need to be critical about ourselves and change in the process. We can't expect that things are just going to be hairy and wonderful and perfect. But because we're working with people, when we get feedback, you need to incorporate that feedback and make sure that you understand where you've gone wrong. And incorporate it in your teaching, you can become a better teacher through that. It's really important.
I think at the end of the day, for me, it's personally about my kids. So at this moment, like, I moved to a new year group, so some of the subjects were a bit tricky for me.
Sure.
But luckily I have a great friend who's also a colleague that works with me, and she majored in science. So all the tricky things from science and mathematics, I can like go to her, and I don't feel scared to go ask her. And I think that's like the thing in education is, we get criticized all over the world. Like I'm seeing now at this moment, like with the whole pandemic about COVID-19, like how parents are posting videos, please, I want my teacher back, and I don't know what to do with my kids. And it's actually funny now, I'm like feeling like, oh, okay, now you need
Now you need me. And you know, thank you so much for bringing up the coronavirus pandemic, because it's actually been a very difficult time for us as teachers.
Definitely.
Tell us a little bit more about your own experience as a teacher and how difficult it's been as you attack the coronavirus pandemic, and also having to teach, you know, using the e-learning that we've had to learn for like in 2 weeks, and we already had to incorporate it.
Definitely. I have a very close relationship with my kids. I enjoy interacting with them one-on-one and like in groups. We incorporate like everyone's friends. So for me, it was difficult because I miss them. I want to see them.
You want to be
I
with
feel
them.
like I know them so well, and that like, oh my word, we did this math topic, this child's going to struggle, how am I going to get through that? So luckily, we have a lot of resources that we are using, and
Can you just name a few for people who are watching,
Like,
so that they're able to?
Personally, for myself, I use a lot of Twinkle, and at the moment I have like a whole month free set for you to access the Twinkle, and Teachers Pay Teachers, which is also like really nice because you can access the free things. You don't always need to pay. I think people tend to stop searching as soon as they have to pay for something, so which is understandable. And luckily I am sitting in a country where like technology is amazing, so Wi-Fi is around the corner, the data is not that expensive, so all those things makes it able to do it. So I'm very grateful for doing that, because I have been speaking to my friends from back home, and I know South Africa is, for example, not in that position, but where they use different styles, like more communicating over WhatsApp,
yeah.
things like that. So luckily we can avoid doing like personal things and getting involved, especially like with Class Dojo. Class Dojo is amazing. I love it. It encourages children. Even now, I still give points to my students when they complete homework, positive feedback. So it's all about communication, definitely.
That's amazing. So, Mariska, what would you tell people? What is the inspiring thing that you could tell upcoming teachers, that you could tell learners at this time? Give us a word that you would like to give us and leave us with.
I would say always stay true to yourself, and at the end of the day we're in this together, and we need support now, especially now with all of these things. Like, not everyone is up to date with technology and things like that, but we need to trust each other and work together. And even with the students, like everyday communication with them, making sure that they feel safe and that they feel loved, and definitely by positive feedback. Even if you get homework back and it's like all wrong, like try to encourage them. So unfortunately we can't do it face to face now, but every single day we can do it through WhatsApp, we can do it through social media, through emails, all of those things. So at the end of the day, like during this whole pandemic, like you want to be with friends and family, but luckily I found friends and family overseas as well. And I would definitely encourage everyone to go overseas and like just go live your life.
Yeah, that's awesome. So there you have it. We were speaking to Mariska, amazing teacher that I've just gotten to know over the past 2 years as I was living in Qatar. But she's amazing, and there's so much that you can learn for her. And there you have it. You research your work to ensure that your kids are getting the best kind of education, and you ensure that you are a lifelong learner and you have critical consciousness. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye. Thank you so much, Mariska, for sharing your story with us. I hope you continue to inspire people all around.